What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to go over the top 10 characters in the Scream franchise. Now, Scream as in movies. I'm not going to introduce TV show characters, although I do like some of them. I'm not going to introduce them in this list, but this does encompass all 4 movies. So this is not just the top 10 characters in, one Scream movie or another. This is all of them put together and with all of them in mind, right? Characters that are in them more. Do they get an advantage? Do they not? We'll find out as I go through my list. Definitely want to hear from you guys. Let me know, who are some of your favorite characters, in the movies. And I guess final thing, these are just my opinions. This is very opinionated, and if you don't agree, that is totally cool. I respect your opinion, and I hope you guys respect mine. Coming in at number 10, I'm going to put Derek from Scream 2. I actually really liked him, and I think the way the character was built, I guess in terms of being almost a red herring, right? Because you don't know for sure if he's, if they're going to just replay what they did with Scream 1, and maybe they didn't even like the script, the original script, or the one that leaked at least, right? Whether or not that was going to be the original vision of the movie, he was going to be, one of the killers. Now, again, maybe that was, all fake, but they definitely keep that possibility there in the movie, right? He gets cut. It doesn't hurt him. The way he even just carries the character, you don't know for sure. I mean, he definitely is a more endearing, like, boyfriend to Sydney, and I like that. I think that's another reason why I really liked his character, is I like Sydney a lot, right? Just like I think everybody does, and to have her actually find a guy, and then actually when the movie ends, right, it's like you look back at it, and it's like she found a guy who really did love her, and they cared about each other a lot, and then all this stuff kind of mess it up, and then he ends up getting caught up in it, and he ends up dying, and it really sucks when you I guess think about it like that. So definitely a very strong character. Number 9, I'm gonna put Jill. This was tough. I was debating. I was actually thinking, what would the audience think? What would you guys think if I said that Jill was actually one of my favorite characters? And again, I don't want to feel like bad, or like down on myself. These are just my opinions. It's just how I feel. Again, if you guys don't agree, that's totally okay. I like Jill. I like her the most when we find out she's the killer. I will say, upon rewatching 4, and I've watched parts of 4, here and there again, as well for like other videos and stuff. She's not, in my opinion, the greatest character like throughout the movie. She's kind of dull. She's kind of bland. I don't really know if she was ever, I like watching it. It's like, well, obviously they're trying to make the connection to Sydney, because of Trevor, like coming in through the window and all that stuff, but she doesn't really have a lot of personality, at least in my opinion. But when she finally like reveals herself, the personality just like flows out, and I like Emma Roberts quite a bit, especially like after like what she's done in horror and in general, since then. I think she's a really good actress, and so I don't think she mailed it in or anything. I think her character was supposed to be this reserved, shy girl. She's not, her personality is not at the forefront, but then in reality, it's all an act. It's all an act. It's just all lies. And she's insane. And it's really cool. I've said it before, I love the finale of 4 quite a bit. I mean, they always nail, I'd say, the finales overall in these movies. I really like 3's finale. I really like 4's finale. And when she just, destroys herself, her explaining everything, her, killing Trevor and all that stuff, you really see just such a different character, and that's the character that I absolutely love, and that's the character that I would say is the reason why she's on my list. Number 8 is going to be Tatum. Really only held back because she's in only the first one, and she's not in it all that much. But like I said, now, I made a top 10 characters in Scream 1. I'm trying to like remember, some of the stuff I said in that one. And, I've watched 1 more than any of the other movies, and I watched 1 during that anniversary, the Fandango event back in October, and that really is like the most vivid thing in my head in terms of how I reacted to seeing these characters on the big screen, and also how the crowd kind of reacted. And I think Tatum really stands out. Her and Dewey, like the relationship there, which is not a perfect relationship, right? But it's really good. Her as a character, she's got some amazing lines. She's a true, I would say, friend, a very rare commodity in Sydney's life in general. So she's really good. Again, she's really only held back by the fact that she's not in it all that much. Number 7, I'm going to put Kirby. The more I look at, again, like I've actually only ever watched Scream 4 twice. I've said that before, but again, I've watched parts of it, over and over. I've seen clips on YouTube, or when I'm looking for these videos, I'll sometimes rewatch parts of it. She's always good. She's always good. She always stands out. The phone call with Ghostface towards the end, where she has to answer like the trivia to save Charlie, that's super good. And that's like the peak, I think, of her character. And then the rest of the movie is she's just still at a very high above average mode the entire time. So it sickens me that we may never see her again. Maybe we will, maybe we won't, though, and I really think we should, because she is just a great character. I think Hayden Panettiere did a really good job with her, and I'd love to see her more. And I think that's a signal of how good she was, that all of us want her back, so she must have done something right. Coming in at number 6 is Randy. Maybe, again, only held back because of 2 movies. I really love his character. We talked about him in the Scream 1 ranking, in that, obviously, let me kind of set the scene. Everything we think about him from 1 is actually the only time he's in 1. So while he's got some great lines and some great moments, he's very, and I can't even believe, I've watched 1 more than the other ones, but it actually always shocks me how little he's in the movie. But again, every one of his main moments in the film are top tier, you know what I mean? And then in 2, he's got a lot more, and that's why I think he's higher here than he would have been, say, if he was only in Scream 1, because he's got more time to shine in 2. I think this video is going to go up after when we rank all the phone calls. His phone call with Ghostface is one of my personal favorites. It's like a top 5, in my opinion, easily. It's so good, and it's driven mainly by him, not really by, Roger L. Jackson does a great job as always, but a lot of the dialogue there is driven completely by him and his personality. I think he deserves a lot of credit for that. Number 5 is going to be Billy. I had to actually go back and look, because it's like I guess maybe even depending on the day, who do I prefer more, Billy or Stu? That's really how I look at it. I think Stu is more of the standout. Billy is more, I don't know. I don't want to talk down to him because he's such an amazing character, but I'm going to put him lower than, spoilers, Stu on the list. We'll get to Stu in a little bit, but Billy is just so good. And I think, especially with him and Stu that we'll talk about, right? These 2 are only in 1 movie. So you got to be really good, because you're also dealing with people that are in more than 1 movie. But, there's a reason why we think, can one ever be beaten? Can the killers ever, like their personality and just how they did it all, right? Or even the whodunit element. Can you ever do it as well as one? Well, what are some of the reasons why you may not be able to? Well, one of the reasons why is because you have these 2, right? You have Billy as your kind of lead man and your lead, killer. Can you ever, Jill is just trying to kind of match that kind of, I guess not really Jill, but like the basic idea is always to have almost your lead character or your lead villain, can they match up to Billy, his motive, just how he kind of acted, stuff like that. And that's a testament to how good they are. So, he's incredible throughout the entire thing. First time I ever saw it, I had to double take to know if it was Johnny Depp or not. And that's okay. Skeet Ulrich looks a lot like him, and that's fine. But just an amazing guy, it seems like, right? An amazing performance as Billy start to finish. Number 4 is going to be Stu. So I'm just going to put him right after it. Again, he's really, I would have said, and I think I said this before too, Billy would have been higher or would have swapped with Stu up until I watched the movie in theaters again. So it was like my 4th or 5th time I've seen. I haven't seen it all that much. It was like my 4th or 5th time, and every time Stu's on screen or anything he says, there's such life to it, and it makes such an impact, more than Billy ever could. And that, maybe that's tough love to Billy's character, to Skeet Ulrich, right? But, Matthew Lillard just killed it. And again, I think that was really shown to me in front of my eyes, because, the theater wasn't like fully packed, but there was a good amount of people there. You just got laughs for a lot of Stu's jokes, and just his insane performance throughout it. He doesn't really change all that much when we find out he's the killer versus when he's not the killer. He's still kind of the same guy, and he's just incredible from start to finish. Again, he's got some of the best lines. His delivery as that character, even like the performance with Billy, towards the end when they're stabbing each other and the phone call and all that stuff. Like, my parents are going to be so mad at me. I mean, again, there's just so much good there that I think does easily beat Billy. Okay, the last three, you could probably imagine who the last three are, but the order is obviously important. So again, I got to go with my gut on this. Maybe people would swap this around, but I'm going to say Gail is my number 3, and that really just comes from personal preference. I think Dewey really stands out to me a lot. I don't want to talk too much about him because he's, we'll talk about him later on the list. But Gail has a really good character arc, in my opinion, and this may be controversial, in 1 and 2, right? 1 being like, obviously, like, selfishness is a big part of her character, and 2, really, I would say she's easily the best character in Scream 2. That's my opinion, but she really is. I think she goes through the most, and her character has the biggest and best and most impactful arc of them. To me, though, then when you get to 3, they completely revert back to her in 1. And maybe that's just kind of the person she is, that she's always going to revert back to, quote-unquote, herself. But I really felt like that did a lot of injustice to the character that she was in 2, or like at least the second half of Scream 2, because they just kind of dropped that for the majority of 3. And then 4, she's not phoning it in by any means. She does a really good job, and her character's just, I think, a little different. Maybe the most... I don't even know. I don't even know how to say it. She just feels the most different, actually, of the 3 of them, in my opinion, seeing them again after all those years. Okay, I don't even know if that makes sense, but I feel like she's a weaker character in 4 as well. So, overall, she's incredible. I always, want to see Courtney Cox play her. I cannot wait to see her in 5. Like, all that stuff is always true. And I'm being kind of tough on her, but it's also, I'm trying to rationalize why I put her here and why the other 2, are in the places that they are. So number 2 is Dewey. I just love him. I love him a lot. I think, in 4, they really do his character, I think, the biggest disservice out of all of them. He kind of reverts in 3 to the same character he was, like, in the beginning of 2. So he doesn't change all that much in 2 and 3. But 4 is a really big change, and I like his performance a lot. I feel like 4 is my favorite performance, by him in general. But at the same time, what, I guess behind the writing and just his character, what they do with him is also the weakest. He's driving for the majority of the movie. He's always driving from one place to the other. Then he gets to a place. Then Judy tells him to go somewhere, or somebody else tells. It's always on the move. And yeah, he's a sheriff, and so he's gotta, he's gotta tell other people where to go and what to do. I get that, but I think just overall that was weak. But besides that, and really, it's just what they did with his character. It's not even his character himself. It's just like the placement, like where they put him. But beyond that, he's a phenomenal character, including in Scream 1. I talked about Tatum. A big part of that also is Dewey. I mean, Dewey is so good in Scream 1 with that kind of like insecurity, or like wanting to be looked at, as a man, as an officer of the law, all that stuff, and like nobody gives him that respect. And just seeing that again, like even in theater, some of the small little, quick little lines that him and Tatum have with each other is insanely good. And number 1, there was never, any doubt in my mind, Sydney. She's not consistently the best character. That is something I do want to make a point of. I don't think it would be fair to say at all she's the best character in 2, and I don't think it would be fair to say she's the best character in 4. 4, maybe she's up there. She's definitely higher up there than in Scream 2. Scream 2, she takes definitely a more backseat, but you understand it, right? She's this girl that she gets a lot of time in 1, and she's I would say, a pretty good developed character, and she's insanely good just throughout Scream 1. And I don't know if you could ever do that again. Now they pull it off, in my opinion, in Scream 3. Scream 3, she's the best part of the movie. Every single scene she's in, she kills it, and it's also the best, like every single scene she's in is the best part of Scream 3. And I think Scream 3 suffers greatly when she's not on screen. So for that alone, for the fact that I would almost even say she saves Scream 3, she's got to be up there. Scream 1, I also think, so in the 2 best movies she's in, 1 and 3, in terms of her performance, she's the best parts of them. In 2, she's a very serviceable part that does the job, excellently. Like, again, there's nothing wrong with that. And then same thing in 4. Like, I love seeing her again, and I love her character, and I love a lot of the conversations she has with Ghostface and stuff. But she really is a protector role in 4. She spends 70% of her parts in the movie just at Jill's house doing nothing. So, like, generally. So you know, towards the end, she's got her big moments, you know, with Jill and then the finale. And she's always got amazing lines. Like, ending of Scream 3 is so good. Even the ending of 4 is really good in some of the, you know, I guess, lines that she says. She's always good. It's just, I guess, what they do with the character. And 2, it's definitely not on her as much because it kind of can't be. And then 4, I think they did make the mistake of keeping her too, like, still most of the time. But I mean, when she's on screen, it's still excellent. And then, you know, when she gets her times to shine during, like, chases or when she's protecting Jill, you know, right after Olivia dies, like, those are incredible scenes and a little different, you know, from Sydney than we've ever seen her before. So I absolutely respect that and love it. So that's my list. That's my top 10. Let me know what your list is in the comments below. Make sure you're subscribed for more of these. I can definitely do more, you know, list videos. I have, and I will. Let me know if you guys want to see anything in particular. All my social media is in the description below if you guys want to check any of that stuff out. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.